Alright guys, welcome back to another video. This is the last video of Unit 2. And this video is basically going to be talking about how to solve absolute value equations when they have special cases. So we have two different equations and we're going to try to solve them. So before that, let's look at three different types of absolute value equations that we have. So first we have obviously the absolute value equations that have two solutions. That'll be when the right side or the constant side is positive. Second, we'll have equations where we have one solution, which is basically when the right side will be 0. You guys should probably write this down or make a flashcard so you guys remember this. Remember these rules. And lastly is when you have 0 solutions or no solution when your right side or your constant side is negative. So without further ado, let's take a look at these questions. We have 9 times absolute value of 3x minus 8 plus 13 plus 3 is equal to 16. So as always, let me write this down. Actually, you know what? I'm just not going to write it down this time, just to save space. So first, let's simplify this question. So we have 9 times absolute value of 3x minus 8 plus 16 equals 16. Then we can subtract 16 on both sides, so 9 times the absolute value of 3x minus 8 equals 0. Now we already know, right? You can already tell this is going to be, the right side is going to be 0, because whatever you multiply or divide 0 to, it's going to be 0. So we have the absolute value, because you're going to divide by 9. 0 divided by 9 is 0. So your absolute value of 3x minus 8 equals 0. You already know that there is one solution, right? Because, think about it this way. When you have two different equations, you're going to put them into, one side is going to be negative, for the constant side is one is going to be positive. But how will you do this with 0? There is no such thing as negative 0, right? Because that's just 0. So you can't have two different equations when they're both basically going to be the same. So in reality, we only have 3x minus 8 equals 0, right? In theory, you would have, the other equation would be negative 3x minus 8 equals negative 0. But negative 0 is the same thing as 0. So they're both the exact same equation, which will yield the same exact result. So we only need one equation. And so then we have 3x equals 8 and x equals 8 over 3. Let's move this up a bit. Alright, and so yeah, that's the final equation. And as always, if you guys want to, you can check it to see if you did it right. And yeah, that's pretty much it. You should probably get the right answer with one answer since the right is 0. So now let's look into the second question. So for our second question, we have 3 times the absolute value of 4x minus 3 plus 4 equals 2. And so when solving this question, we have to make sure that we know, right, what type of equation or solution we're going to get. In order to do that, you can't just know immediately. If you see, like, for example, if this question was reworded into 3 times absolute value of 4x minus 3 plus 4 equals negative 2. People will try to trick you, and questions will try to trick you by saying that, okay, since the right side is negative, right, you should only have no solution, right? But no, you have other things, or like you have the 3 and the 4, the other constants on the left side that you must incorporate to the right side before you can make a judgment whether you know if it's going to be one solution, two solutions, or no solution, right? So let's do that. So basically what I'm trying to say is isolate the absolute value of 4x minus 3. So 3, so let's move this down here. 3 times the absolute value of 4x minus 3 equals negative 2. Negative 2. And so this is the same thing, and then you divide by 3 on both sides. You have the absolute value of 4x minus 3 equals negative 2 over 3. And then after you do that, you'll have, well, okay, so let's say that if it was negative, right, no matter what, like even if it's negative or positive, if you have a negative on the right side, automatically you know for sure. Well, okay, let me take that back. If the left side is only an absolute value, like how we have here, like the absolute value of 4x minus 3, it's just by itself isolated, and the right side is negative, then you know for sure that there's no solution. But if the left side has like other constants around it, then you have to get rid of those by moving to the right side before making a judgment. So for these, we know that it's going to be negative, so we automatically know. You can write it several ways, but I'm just going to write no. So solution. Oops, that's not how you spell solution. There you go. So yeah, that pretty much ends Unit 2, which is Unit 2. So we'll be looking at Unit 3 next, and so I'll see you guys in the next video.